Well, good afternoon and welcome to another little video on how to use Terramodel. Today, specifically, I'd like to cover a topic surrounding the image manager and very specifically the image manager module used in conjunction with the GeoComp KML out and how that we can reference the Google Earth image back into Terramodel using this process. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to pull up a project that I've worked on. I have one called on my desktop actually called Howig Farm. I'm just going to pull it up and we can see it there. I'm going to go ahead and turn the contours off just to clean things up a little bit and turn off the visibility on that. Alright, so I have some data here and what I want to end up with is a Google Earth image in the background. So first thing I'm going to do is draw a box around the area that I want the image to be located in. So let's go ahead and we can use the features layer, but I'm going to change the color of the box. I'm going to draw it to yellow just to make it pop out a little more. I'm going to go to Draw, P-Line, and Box. And all I'm going to do is just draw a box around this area. And I can move the box if I want to. The actual size of this box isn't critical. It just needs to surround the area that you want the image to be located in. Alright, so secondly, I'm going to use a command called gckml out, and I'm going to press enter. Now from left to right at the bottom here, I'm going to select this yellow box as my record that I'm going to output. Here's one of the important things is the coordinate system that we use. So we'll just talk through this a little bit. We're going to use UTM coordinates, and it depends what zone you're in. On the left we're going to select UTM, and then it depends what zone you're in. I'm in zone 17, or the data set that I'm working with is in zone 17, so I'm going to select UTM 83-17F for feet, which is the units I'm working with. If I was working with data from zone 18, for instance, I would select UTM 18 feet. I don't want to do that. I want to use 17 feet, and all of the others are fine. We can just leave that as it is, say OK. Thirdly, along the bottom here, I want to select where this KML goes. I'm going to hit Browse, and I'm going to drop it into here. I already have another one there, but I'm going to overwrite it. So I'm going to drop it into a folder on my desktop called Howig Farm. So I'm going to overwrite it and just say place. If you didn't have one there, you could just make a new one. Give it whatever name you want. Go to Settings, use the Google Earth type. Everything else here is fine the way it is. We'll just leave it exactly as is. So say OK to this and hit Export. In my case, Google Earth will open that file right away. If your computer isn't set to do that, or if you don't currently have Google Earth installed, then you could also go and I'll just show you where it went. I can minimize Terramodel. I can go ahead and go to this Howig Farm folder, and on here it created, just get rid of this for now because I will want one later. There's a KML file. If I double click on that, it should open Google Earth. Now you will need, side note here is, you will need Google Earth installed on your computer. So if you do not currently have Google Earth Pro installed, go ahead and get that done first. It is a free utility. Couple things in Google Earth. Really all we see here is the box around the area that I want in Terramodel. First I'm going to go to Tools, Options, and in Options there's this thing called Elevation Exaggeration. Just change that to 0.01. It's probably set at 0.1 or so. Change it to 0.01 and hit Apply and OK. Secondly, you will need to go to View and Reset, and Tilt and Compass will reset it to a flat view. And just kind of zoom in around the area that you want. Something like that looks pretty good to me. I have now taken out any tilt and any north tilt as well. So I can go ahead and tilt this. I don't want to do that. When I go save this, it's going to save at whatever rotation I have in here. So View, Reset, Tilt and Compass just clears all of that out for you. Secondly, I'm going to go ahead in here. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and save image, and it puts another little row of options along the top. First, I'm going to go to Map Options. I don't want any of those elements on my image. Next, I'm going to go to Max Resolution. You could select a lower resolution. That's entirely up to you. The lower the resolution, the lower the sizes of the image. Finally, I'm going to hit Save. It asks me where do I want to save it to. I'm going to go ahead and save it to my desktop, which is in that Howick Farm folder. I'm just going to call it image, and I'm going to save it as a JPEG type. Hit Save. Might take a little while to save. Didn't take too long for me. Bring up this folder. I now have this image file in here. I can double click on that and just open it with my Windows photo viewer. Alright, so that's fine. I can see that I have the image now. Final step is to bring that image back into Terramodel, and you will notice that, going back to here, you will notice that we can actually see the yellow line that we exported out to Google Earth, and that's going to become important in a minute here. Back in Terramodel, go to File, Image Manager, and lower left corner of Image Manager window there's an Add button. We're going to browse to wherever it is that this file is, wherever we placed it when we were saving in Google Earth. The other thing you need to do on this window is change it to all files so that you can see them. It is a JPEG file we saved, so we're going to select the JPEG image. Comes back. There is, unfortunately, Google Earth does not provide a registration file, so we need to register this manually, and that's where the Image Manager module comes in. We're going to also uncheck this Add P-line border to image. We don't want an additional P-line. We're going to use the upper right, and I'm simply going to place it approximately where I want it. It's not going to be right, but it's close. I'm going to say OK and done. Now, this image has come in, but it's not referenced correctly. If I zoom in, I can see this fuzzier line is the line that came in from the Google Earth program, and this one is the actual box from Terramodel. So I want this point to be moved or registered to this point. The Image Manager has that ability, so we go to File and Image Manager, we select the image, and there's a register button on the right hand side. We're going to go ahead and say source A. Do this top right corner first. I'm going to zoom into this area here, right there, and the destination for pick A is going to be the end of this line. Alright? We also need to do this with the lower left. zoom out, and let's just see. This is the image, the actual line from the image, source, and we pick the destination, and we'll go to the end of that line. Say OK, and done, and we've registered it. Now, when we zoom in, this data is registered where it should be. Doesn't quite look like it's fitting. When I look up here, let's rotate it slightly. So the question is, why is that? It could be through my image. When I look at this here image, it came in. I can see that it's not entirely straight. This line, there must have been a slight rotation back in Google Earth. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this image. I'm just going to delete it. That's the registered one. I'm going to detach the original one, and I'm going to say done. Now, let's go back to Google Earth and just see. Going to hit File, View, Reset, Tilt and Compass, and I'm going to View, Reset, Tilt and Compass, and I'm going to go ahead and File, Save Image, make sure options are right. Alright, let's go back to here, and I don't see any offsets in this line, so that tells me that I think I must have moved it a little bit the last time after I had done the reset. So let's go back to Terramodel, Image Manager, Add, select the image, uncheck this box that says Add P-line, graphically select the rough northing and easting lines. Now let's go ahead and actually reference these. Back to File, Image Manager, Register, pick the source of A, which is going to be here. Go to the destination, which is the end of this line. Pick the source for and the destination is going to be the end of this line. Now, I would say that's registered a little closer. There's a pretty large possibility that the image is not going to be 100%. This is the GPS data and the actual image may not always perfectly align. You can play with this, you could fudge this, but it won't always lay on top perfectly. So at this point, if we wanted to draw a plot box and actually take this image over to the plot box, let's just do that. At the end of this video, draw P-line, one called plot box, and let's just suppose we want to print the lower section here. I'm going to say DV for DynaView. I'm going to DynaView this over to my sheet view. I'm going to say OK. Now I have my actual data here, but I don't have my image. There's another option called, again, working with the image manager, there's one called Dyna Image. And what we're going to do is we're going to simply select leave everything the way it is except for Dynaview, and we're going to go over to the sheet view, and in the very lower left corner of this Dynaview there's a little point. We're going to select it, say OK, and done, and it actually brings that image and nicely clips it to the boundaries. That also works to bring that image over to that Dynaview. And hope this tutorial helps, and thanks again for watching.